Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today, we are back at the drawing board. That's right. Recently, we did a video on this little 1:6 7.62x39 primary arms with the ACSS reticle in it. And, we were posing the question, hey, is a $300 optic good and everything? I think that there's some folks that were confused about where we were coming from in that video. So we not only want to clarify, but we're also kind of revisiting this a little bit, because I think we've identified a potential culprit that might have affected the performance of this optic a little bit. We're going to get into a little bit of data, and then we're going to reshoot this optic, this time on a mutant, and we're going to suppress it. And we're also switching up our ammo a little bit to give it a bit more of a fair chance. So basically, yeah, these optics are great. I mean, if it wasn't made clear in that video that we like the optics, guys, come on. I mean, these things are great. And the thing about it is, as long as the optic is of decent quality, where the rubber really meets the road on an optic like this is the quality of the reticle and the way the glass is cut and the way the reticle is designed and all the math and everything that goes into the reticle. And the designer of this reticle is a very smart guy and has a lot of data behind 7.62x39, 300 blackout, 5.56, all these different cartridges to just really get this sucker dialed in well. And I think you'll see in a moment it's shooting quite good. We're running M67 ball, so this is Yugo military ball ammunition that we're going to be shooting through the 1:6 PA here and out of the mutant. And I'm going to share some data with you, and this should give you a little bit of an idea of why we were getting some kind of elliptical results out to 6. For one, guys, something that maybe wasn't made clear that I do want to make clear, 600, 550 yards is really like kind of the extreme far cutoff end of 7.62x39. So you're asking 7.62x39 to do some silly things at those ranges. And I think that we jumped the gun in trying to like fire 2 shots and okay, they landed a little low and then all right, trying to dial. The issue was the ammunition, I believe, is what was causing some of the anomalies that we were getting there. So I'm gonna share some data. All right, so Wolf, that's what we were running the other day. Wolf 123 grain FMJ, 2280 feet per second with a 30 feet per second SD and 115 feet per second extreme spread. So that kind of is what it is. That's what we were shooting the other day. So let's move on to M67 ball ammunition. We're running an Ayler 35P chronograph to get this data. M67 ball ammunition, 10 shot group average of 2362. Okay, so that's right there in where it needs to be in terms of velocity to be military spec. Norinco green box, okay? Shut up, bird. Nobody cares what you're saying. Norinco green box, 10 shot average of 2419. So yeehaw. Now you're getting down. You're talking nearly, let's just say for argument's sake, almost double, or almost 200 feet per second more than the Wolf. So you're talking a much hotter, more appropriate military spec round. And when you're shooting long range with any cartridge, you want to make sure that you're using a cartridge that is of the appropriate speed that it's designed to work at. Part of our reasoning for taking the cheaper Wolf ammo out was because we wanted to see how it would do with some of the lower power. Well, we didn't know it was lower powered at the time, but come to find out, the devil's in the data, and we didn't really have the data. We weren't armed with the data to go back to bat on this to know exactly what we were dealing with. But now that we have the data in hand, you really do start to see why we got the result we did. So let's move on. We've got the PPU. This is Boxer Prime brass case ammunition, 123 grain FMJ, 10 shot average of 2512. Yeehaw, now we're talking. Now we're getting some velocity. Now accuracy, we noticed that the PPU took a little longer to kind of settle in. It is pretty hot, but we are gonna probably try to shoot the PPU out to 6 and just kind of see what it does once we get back up on the tower. But that's a steaming round. All right, getting down. Okay, so this is Tula ammunition, 122 grain FMJ Tula, 10 shot average of 2482. So the Tula actually wound up being some of the hottest ammunition that we were able to bring out with us today other than the PPU. So take that for what it is, guys. We're not going to be testing every single round. We are going to be shooting Yugo M67 because it provided really good accuracy. The long range accuracy is excellent, and this is a nice kind of middle of the range velocity range. It's not underpowered like the Wolf 123. It's not overpowered like the PPU and, dare I say, even the Tula. This is military spec ammunition, which is exactly what this Optic was designed to fire in terms of 7.62 by 39. If you compare bullet weights in 300 blackout to 7.62 by 39, that's why this particular PA here, this primary arms Optic, is marketed towards 300 blackout and 7.62 by 39 because the trajectories are very, very similar. We will be working up a same battery of tests like we did here with 300 blackout as well. And we will revisit this video with this exact same Optic dropped on 300 blackout so you guys can see where we're coming from there. But yeah, for the record, I want to say, guys, this is a great Optic. And if you're one of the, you know, 300 bucks is still a lot of money. I get it. We all work hard for a living. You know, we all deserve to have what makes us happy. And guys, I tell you, if you got this Optic here on your AK or on your 300 blackout build, you're gonna be a happy camper, okay? And I was actually I'm not surprised, but I was a little bit surprised. On that video, the amount of pushback that we got from people that were like, hey, I own this Optic and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. I'm not saying your opinion doesn't matter, but I got looking back at it and thinking, well dang, where did we go wrong? Did we do something wrong? Did we say something wrong? And I got to thinking about it. And it's like, you know, we really did. I mean, we're smarter than that. We didn't go about it scientifically. So what we're gonna do today, we're gonna start out at intermediate ranges, which 300 yards is a long way for this cartridge, but we're gonna shoot out to 300 yards here. And then I've actually built up a new berm at 400, so we're gonna shoot at 400 as well with 7.62 by 39 M67 ball ammunition. And then we're probably gonna try to move one of our gongs a little closer, and let's try to get it like right at that terminal range, like right in the Goldilocks zone for 7.62 by 39, which many have determined to be about 550 yards. That's a long way for 7.62 by 39. I want it made clear, guys, that we are asking this cartridge to do some really stupid things today, but it's all in the name of seeing what these little scopes are all about. You know, I'm sold on them. I like them. Everybody I've talked to that owns them likes them. We've also dealt with some of the Platinum series with the ACSS reticles on some of our other rifles, and we've also dealt with ACOGs that have the ACSS reticle. And guys, really, the ACSS reticle itself is where these Optics really shine. You could take the quality of this primary arms Optic and put a crummy reticle in it, and guess what? Crummy math is crummy math no matter how you cut it. The data is what it is, and the reticle is what it is. So that is what we're really trying to push home with the quality of this Optic, is the etching of the reticle being a really big selling point on this particular piece of glass. I know I'm spending a lot of time talking about it, but I want to make it clear. A guy that doesn't know anything about ballistics can zero his gun according to the manufacturer's specs and take military spec ammunition and make some pretty difficult shots at long range without hardly really even trying. And not only can he do that, he can also range his target with the built-in rangefinder that's on the right side of the reticle. Okay, you know, you can actually use it to determine the distance of like man-sized targets. There's also a list, if you go in their instruction manual, I don't know if it's in their exact manual, but if you go on their website and look around, you'll see that they give some different reference heights of different things. Like for instance, it's just like any other range-finding reticle works. If you know the height of a human at various ranges, or if you know the height of a doorway, of the top of an average car, things like that, or the height of an average stop sign, you can use all of those data points to determine how far away something is based on what you're seeing in the range-finding reticle. So this is a leg up on other things because of its simple and quick range-finding capabilities. So if that's something we weren't clear on in the other video, guys, I apologize. We're better than that. We know that we should have done a little bit better of a job, and we're just going to shoot this and just have a little fun. All right, we're running a SDN6 suppressor from AAC. This is a CMMG Mutant, and we're just running Tapco magazines and Yugo M67 ball ammunition with our primary arms 1-6. Now Chad's going to spot, and I'm going to do all the shooting just so we keep everything consistent or inconsistent, depending on who you ask. But anyway,
I don't know.
I do want to mention we've been running the Geisley or the ALG Go Juice. And this is our preferred stuff for keeping these things running. Guys, I ain't kidding. Go Juice is great stuff. I'm not a salesman. I'm not trying to tell you to go out and buy it, but I'm just saying that on the ALG, this stuff is great. The Go Juice, and Mr. Geisley did a great job designing that stuff. And I just wanted to give them a shout out because we do enjoy the Go Juice. It really helps keep running suppressed, it really helps. Okay, Chad, why don't you tell me what to shoot, and I'll shoot whatever what you want me to shoot.
Well, just you want to keep it consistent, keep the variables to a minimum. Just start at 50, walk your way back out to 3, like we did before.
So just the tip.
Just the tip. Now look, just the tip between 50 and 2.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
All right, I'm sending it.
Aiming at the bolt, right?
Yeah. Okay. 100.
You know, it definitely is favoring to the left after confirming it at 3.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we noticed too, you know, in talking with the guy that designed this reticle, just like the military does, sometimes you'll have to make a slight little tweak at 3 just to get her spot on. So that's just something to keep in mind. But really though, it's like a ½ inch, maybe an inch, just slightly off to one side or high or low. But I guess the thinking there would be that at close range, I mean, it's not going to be quite as important to have like that tiny, I mean, that's perfectly good hunting accuracy.
Yeah. Well, and for sure that M67 is shooting a lot better than the Wolf did the other day.
Yes, it is. Okay, so again, so the half size, the little quarter size down there?
No, go for the half size all the way on the left.
Okay.
And just the tip. That's 200. Yep. All right, so go again. One more shot.
Looks good to me.
All right. So it's starting to sink back in a little bit. We got a little bit of wind, but
it is, yeah.
All right, 250. So kind of in that in between.
All right, so now we're in the Goldilocks zone where the chevron kind of comes down to a pyramid on the bottom. So that's what we're using at 250.
Yeah, basically
so
draw
now
an imaginary line.
We're kind of getting in the middle a little bit here.
Okay, so you were right over the top of his head.
Okay.
Bring down a little more. Right on the top of the head. You aiming center mass?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're hitting right there in the face. Just to the left of his head.
Shooting really good. All right, so go out to 3?
Yep, 3, you're just gonna use the top of the post there.
Top of the post,
top of the post.
All right, I'm gonna stick the top of the vertical stadia right on the 8-inch popper. We're gonna get adventurous and go for the 8-inch.
Oh, it'll do it. Yep, right there at 7 o'clock, roughly. Favoring on the left side. Right off the left. Old oot.
Not terrible at all. Not terrible, okay. We do have a little bit of wind.
Yeah, but you know, when we dialed it in earlier, we didn't have really any wind. It was dead on the money too.
Yeah,
this was killing me.
So I'm gonna give a little bit of a wind hold because I think that's what's happening. Dead center?
Yeah, dead center.
Yeah, I'm giving a slight wind hold.
Right over the top.
Gotcha.
Right over the top again. Just high and left. Right on the left edge. You got it there. Just over the top again. Yep. Just right.
That was a little high. Yeah.
That was just right.
Oh, right, okay. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go for the gopher. Little turd.
Who knew 7.62 by 39 could be a varmint round? You got him? Just to pass his belly on the right.
What more does it need to do?
Definitely much more consistent.
Much more consistent, yeah. Well, I think what we're determining here is that our ammo we were running the other day, while it shot pretty dang good at, a few hundred yards, once you start stepping out on that range a bit, guys, you gotta have, good hot ammo to really get that trajectory in for what this Optic is calibrated for, full power ammunition. And we weren't running full power ammunition. So that is something that we overlooked on our part, and an area that I felt really deserved another look, because a lot of folks have been asking us to check these optics out. And 7.62 by 39 as a cartridge is a cartridge that I take very seriously. I really, really love this cartridge. So it's one of those things where if we were wrong, or if we made a bad decision by bringing out the wrong ammo, we didn't feel like it would be fair to throw the gun or the suppressor or the optic or anything under the bus, because this rifle is only going to shoot as good as the ammo that you put into it. So that's a learning experience that we can all take away a little bit. Understanding the limitations of the ammunition that you're using is a very important part of being a shooter and using your rifles as a tool. And the reason I chose this rifle, for one, it's an AR, and we all love ARs, but it's not really an AR. It's kind of a red-headed stepchild.
It's a mutant.
It is a mutant. It is a beastly thing. But the reason I chose this rifle is because this is my preferred hunting rifle. I use 7.62 by 39 to hunt a lot of critters. I've killed coyotes, I've killed pigs, I've killed deer, I've killed foxes, I've killed all kind of critters with this exact rifle. So it was something that, for me, if I could drop this on my hunting rifle and deliver the goods, I know I can trust this rig with this optic on it, and that's what I wanted to determine. I already knew it from the last video and the other day when we took this thing out. I knew that this was a really killer optic, but this really just drove the whole point home for me. But guys, we're not done, okay? We're gonna move up. We're gonna go out to 400 yards. We've got a 400-yard gong over here, and we're gonna move the other gong down, and let's try some terminal shots. We will shoot, just to be fair, we're gonna shoot the PPU that's clocked at 2512. That is very close to advertised velocity on the PPU. Now we got some good velocity out of this PPU. We're gonna need every dang bit of it to get out to 600 yards. We will attempt the 600-yard shot again, but we're also gonna move the gong a little bit closer, because 550 seems to be about the devil-may-care range of the 7.62 by 39. So let's see if we can find that Goldilocks zone, and let's test this out to the maximum effective range of 7.62 by 39. But bear in mind, when we go to 6, things start to get squirrely. And bear in mind, we're actually shooting further than 600 yards. It's like 610. So you're even further. You're like 60 yards further than what this thing is even designed to do. But we're gonna give it a try anyway, because I think it's gonna be fun. So let's do it. Okay, so today's setup is a little bit different than what we were running the other day. We've got a proper berm at 400 yards. We have set up an intermediate gong at 550 yards, which is like right at the maximum cuff of what this round can do. And then we've still got our 600-yard berm down there. So we've reconfigured the range, especially for this test, because guys, we want to make sure we're being completely fair here. We're going to start at 4, go out to 550, and then 6, again, is a long way for this cartridge, but we are going to test it at 6. I do have some PPU ammo. I know the 0 might be slightly different, although even though we stacked all of these rounds in at 50 yards, just about to the same exact point of aim. So for academic purposes, we'll try some of this PPU just because it's so hot, and just to see if that extra little bit of velocity that this cartridge is giving us will allow us to poke on in there at 6. Let's do it. So I think we've discovered that it was a limitation of the ammo that we were using. So hopefully,
I know one thing that I figured out is that if anybody wants to buy cheap ammo, just buy Tula. That stuff is so freaking hot.
It is hot. Yeah, compared to the Wolf it is.
But I'm curious about the M67. It's not running terribly much faster than the Wolf, but it was a lot more consistent. So I'm really curious to see what it'll do at 6.
Yep.
You know, if it'll tumble like as much as the Wolf did or what. But
yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Now, you're gonna go for
now,
4?
Yeah, we're gonna go for 4.
Okay.
Now 300 was a bit of a challenge. Now you're starting, this is where the rubber really meets the road on 7.62x39. This is some long shots that we're taking here, guys.
Long indeed.
Long shots.
All right, faux hundo. Again. All right. You're hitting about 2 feet left.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, wind is, I guess the wind's just catching you. Elevation looks pretty good. Look like you might be on the lower quadrant of the plate. But, all right, you were just off the left edge of the plate. That looked like you were just right. I mean, the elevation plane's good. One more time. Yep, you got it on the bottom corner at like 5 o'clock. I can't tell exactly where it is. You got it, center mass. There you go. It's like hovering all right around that plate. You got it that time. Got it.
It's in there.
Some of those shots are favoring just slightly high of center. That one was kind of right in the middle of the plate, slightly left. You're on it. That 50 cal gong just barely rings.
Yep, this is true.
But yeah, you're all over the plate. I mean, but it's shooting, I don't know, maybe an 18-inch group or so.
Yeah, it's kind of getting into area target range. Suppressor wrap moving a little bit there. All right, we're gonna step out to 550, guys. This is where the rubber meets the road. And I think we know what our holds are dealing with here. The reticle's tracking in terms of elevation. The windage holds, I think it's just the wind playing with us a little bit. But the main thing that we're trying to test here is that elevation. And I think we've pretty much got her figured out with the elevation spot on. So again, we're going kind of in Goldilocks zone, right in between the 500 yard stadia and the 600 yard stadia to get our 550 mark. So this is right on the cuff of what 7.62x39 can do, all right? This is maximum, this is, you know, stupid distance.
Maximum stupid effective range?
Well, really, one thing I will tell you though, is that 400 is a long way.
400 is a real long way.
For this cartridge, you know. We're getting 150 more yards on top of that, so.
One thing too, we've shot 400 with like SKS's irons and all that, you know, too.
That's right. I'm sending it, dude.
Send it when you're ready. 550. That thing tracked right on the money.
In there?
Yep. Go again. Yep, that one hit kind of, you're favoring at the top right edge of the target.
10-4. I'm gonna bring my wind hold over just a little bit then.
Okay.
The wind must not be affecting us quite as much at that distance. Or, well, I mean, there's a lot of variables going into these shots.
It's got to be affecting it a little bit. All right, now that one destabilized and tumbled.
It did.
Yep. That one destabilized and tumbled. Good. 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 It looked like. Those are not impacting. I can't tell exactly where they are. That was an impact. Yep, impact.
All right, tell you what, for academic purposes, I've only got 5 or 10 rounds of, well, maybe not even that much, of Yugo M67 left. We're gonna go ahead and try the M67 at 600 yards. Like Chad said, a few of the rounds are tumbling at 550, so that's telling us that we're kind of like right on the cuff, but we are getting several impacts on the plate and the scope is tracking beautifully, so wonderful news. All of that video and all of the issues we had in the previous video was simply because the ammo just wasn't up to standard. And that's why we test this stuff, guys. Something told us that we needed to check this out again. I'm glad we did. All right, so I'm going for 6. Now, guys, this is air castle ranged. You know what I mean? You know what it means to build air castles. All right.
Build that castle, baby.
Here we go.
All right. All right, elevation was good. Hit slightly right off the plate. Same place, just right off of the plate. That was an impact. Impact. That was an impact. Impact. Say for a few rounds, like destabilizing at 550, I imagine you'd probably get that at 6 as well, but it seems to be tracking. That extra, like, you know, what, 2280 versus, yeah, what, 70 feet per second?
Okay.
It makes a big difference.
Here is some PPU ammunition, and guys, this stuff is moving a pretty good little tick. This is just over 2,500 feet per second. So guys, this brass case ammo here is very, very hot ammo. Now I know that our 0 is going to be slightly off and different, so this is not meant to be taken for face value, but it is hitting relatively to the same point of aim. We're just, for academic purposes, going to lob this hotter ammo in here, and what we're trying to determine, I've only got 10 rounds here, what we just want to determine is if indeed the rounds, you know, still stabilize. That is what my primary concern is.
That round should still be stable down there. It probably will hit a little high.
It is going to hit a little high. We're going to prepare for that. So I'm going to cheat the lower quadrant of the gong just slightly to account for the hotter ammo.
Okay. Well, like I said earlier, you know, the when I was zeroing that thing and just kind of dialing everything in and getting the data, that PPU shot well, but it took a few rounds just to kind of foul in.
That's fine.
Kind of,
let's just give it a try. I'm just going to send one.
Go ahead. Yep, so you hit directly in between the plate and the stand.
To the right?
The top of the rack there.
Really?
Yes. Fire one more. Keep that same point of aim and shoot again. Same place. Right over the gong, in between the gong and the stand. All right, that was just low and slightly right. That was just under the target. That was an impact, yep. I think an impact. Yep, impact. Low and left. That one may have gone right over the top of the gong. Hit behind it. That one looked like it tumbled and hit down by the gopher. Just low and left.
That's some hot ammo. Tell you what, I've got a little bit more. So I'm actually using, like, I guess you would call it like 575.
Okay.
So I'm just barely having to cheat it a little bit different just because it's a little bit hotter ammo.
Fair
but
enough.
That's to be expected, you know? Cool.
It gets out there.
Just for fun, guys. Let's try 10 more. You know, to properly do this, we really would want to go back down there and just zero for this ammo specifically.
I think the point's been proven.
The point has been proven. And the weird thing is a couple of rounds, despite the higher velocity, still tumbled, okay? So that's something to consider. That, you know, I just think no matter how hot you get these rounds, there is sort of like a series of diminished returns to where it's just, there's just only so far this cartridge is going to shoot.
Well, those rounds don't have the highest BCs either.
They
so
do not.
When they get down range, that wind and everything, and the friction's just going to be affecting them more.
I think I know where to aim, so let's just try a string here, and just for fun, let's just see what she's doing.
All right, ready when you are. Send it.
Okay.
Impact. 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 Just low and left. Impact. 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 That looked like it was maybe high and left. That stuff works.
Color me impressed. All right.
Highly impressed.
Highly impressed. So guys, hopefully this gives you an idea what we're talking about with this 1-6 here. I mean, it's a sub $300 scope. It works for 300 blackout, 7.62x39. It delivers the goods when we actually use proper ammunition. The important part is to make sure we use a mil-spec ammo. That's what the scope is designed to use. Now, it's not to say you can't use some of the lower powered ammo, but when you get into the stuff that's not mil-spec, you're going to get into some, especially at long ranges. Guys, a lot of that cheaper ammo, they dumb down the powder on it, try to save money and make it cheaper. That's just the fact of the matter, okay? I mean, you're saving the money somewhere, and they're saving the money somewhere in order to sell you the ammo cheaper. But when you get into some of this hotter stuff, I mean, they're not skimping on anything. They're more consistent bullet weights, more consistent projectiles, higher quality powders. I mean, those things tend to matter when you start punching out the long range, especially with an intermediate cartridge like this. That is some really impressive work for 600 yards for 7.62x39. And we proved that that extra velocity in the PPU, it delivered the goods, and we saw that the math in this scope is actually spot on precise, because with the Yugo M67, the windage or the elevation holds were spot on the money, and we found that obviously we had to make some minor adjustment to our point of aim because of the hotter ammunition, which means that the math in this scope is perfect. Everything's dialed in just beautifully. So yeah, consider me a convert. This is a great optic. And guys, in the previous video, we don't want to make it sound like we hated the optic. We don't. You know, we just we went into it, I think, going about it the wrong way. Going straight from 3 out to 6 was the bad choice, because we didn't realize that that was just right at that Goldilocks zone of how effective this cartridge is. We were shooting ammunition that was too low in velocity and not loaded to military specifications. And we were asking the cartridge to do something that is really hard to do anyway, because to get the rounds, every round, to not destabilize to some degree, I had to run this 2,500 feet per second PPU to even get it way out there. And even then, we had a couple of rounds destabilized, even at 2,500 feet per second. So guys, I think we can consider that myth busted. I mean, 600 yards is like right on the top end for 7.62x39. 550 I would consider to be like maximum point target range for military spec 7.62x39 velocity ammo. So there you go. I would say that the cartridge really excels at 300 yards. That's where it's probably going to perform the best. You start getting out to 4 and 550. We saw the wind was playing with us a little bit more. That wind really starts to become a major factor. The wind was playing with us a bit at 3 as well, but not quite as bad. So take that for what you will. The Mutant, of course, delivering the goods, everything working wonderfully. Just a fun day to be behind a rifle today. And this was so much fun. And guys, thanks for watching. We really appreciate all the support that we get from our viewers. You know, when you leave comments, we read them. And when our viewers have an issue with something we've done, we have to get to the bottom of it and figure out why it's an issue. Was it something we did? Was it the ammo? Was it the equipment? And then we identified that indeed it was the ammunition was the culprit for why we weren't getting the perceived results that we were looking for. So hopefully that clears that up for you guys. We have a lot more videos on the way, tons of different things in the pipeline. If you guys support the channel through things like t-shirt sales over on Force from Freedom, or if you purchase man cans, or if you donate money on Patreon, guys, we graciously appreciate all of our Patreons, all of our support that we get from man cans, t-shirt sales. Guys, all of those funds go directly back into the channel and allow us to take on bigger and better projects and allow us to keep going and putting this content out for you guys. So if you're a part of that, thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you soon.